Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. There is a need for South African mines to adopt new mining methods. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer explains. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, at this year's Mining Indaba, the Chamber of Mines VP stressed the need for new mining methods to boost mine life. Can you tell us about this?
We've still got more gold in the ground than we've mined. We've been mining for 120 years. And the whole drawback is how are we going to extract this? If we use our existing methods of drill and blast, we've got no hope of doing that. We're going to, what they call, sterilize that gold in the ground. You leave it in the ground, nobody gets it because you can't get it out. So, but if we actually change our mining method, we can have another long horizon on gold mining, which is fantastic when you think of how long we've been mining for. And even when you go deep, it can be cheap. As we saw with Mponeng, the studies they've been doing out at AngloGold Ashanti's deep level mine, the deepest in the world, Mponeng, they find it very viable, to keep going there. And they're already at 3,800 meters. So, they could go to 5 meters, whatever, as long as the grade is right. And they're talking about 10 grams per ton, which is pretty hot, So it's just about the mining method. And that's why it's so important that government and business did get together with that mining Pakisa. And they set up, the Comro, the research and development house that we've got in Joburg that was used to be owned by the Chamber of Mines, and then they handed it over to the government. And now what's happening is government and the Chamber and business are working together. So it's more like a public-private partnership. It was very good as a private entity, and it was not so good as a public entity when it went under the CSR. And hopefully it'll be much better as a public-private enterprise, because they will be very specifically targeting new mining methods that can really turn this wealth to account. It's no good having this wealth in the ground if you can't get it out economically. And the more you think about this and the more people study it, they believe that they can do a lot more, to actually do far better, because, there's so much new technology there that the way we mine at the moment is so wasteful. People take so long to get to the face. Then they've got to get out because there's a blasting situation. They can't be there. Then other people come in and clean up. What they are looking for now is continuous mining, where it's rock around the clock. You just keep going 24/7, 365. It could change the whole face of wealth creation here. It's like opening a tap and the gold just flows out, and it's possible.
Now, you've mentioned some of this, but companies are focusing on developing processes and technologies to remove people from the rock face.
Yeah, the whole thing is that you want to make it safe. The number one priority has got to be safe. If you speak to any CEO, brother, when there's a fatality, it's so demoralizing, for a company that's trying to put out a good face to its shareholders, and all of a sudden, you've got a fatality. What do? You've been saying that you're going to be safe. You say this over and over again, and people start to doubt your credibility. So the number one is safety. So you must move the people away from the dangerous areas. And again, if you introduce the correct technology, or you design the technology around that, they're speaking of people well away from the dangerous parts of the mine, sitting in air-conditioned cabs, doing the drilling and the blasting, having automated systems to remove that. And they're talking digitization and Uberization of mines. So the whole logistics could change it. It could become a highly profitable, business if they get it right.
AngloGold Ashanti's Sean Newberry recently said that gold mining could end long before the Witwatersrand Basin's 3 million ounce of gold are extracted. Why?
Sean was working for AngloGold Ashanti on new systems and saying, look, it's just a hopeless case. If you carry on mining the way you do, you're going to not actually turn what is possible to turn to account. So you've just got to change. It's an absolute necessity. And they started introducing what they call reef boring. They brought in reef boring machines. And one would like to see that also come under perhaps the mining Pakisa spotlight, so that more funds could be generated into that. It's interesting that AngloGold Ashanti keeps on reporting that they're upbeat on this, which is wonderful. But they're still not at a commercial stage, because they have to get permission from the government to work continuously. You can't work around the clock in mines. It's against the law. You've got to get backing from the government. So that is a drawback, and I think that is the main drawback now for this reef boring, which means that you don't drill and blast. So you don't have to have people leaving the mine. They can stay there night and day, where the machine can keep going. It bores into the reef, and in theory it gets the gold, and only the gold. Now that is another big thing, because the way we mine at the moment, we blast that reef to pieces. There's tiny smithereens going all over the place. People have to clean it, and they know they don't always clean it. So, the mine call factor comes into play. Your geologists know the gold is there, but when it comes to surface, they say, hey, where is it? It's gone. So it's really been something that's needed to be changed for a long time, and perhaps that reef boring will be one aspect, because AngloGold Ashanti has also said this is for everybody, because the principle is that if it makes something safer, you must allow it in. So even though they've been expending the money on it, they're saying everybody can use it, if it's really works out, which is a great sentiment to have, which you can see in the mining business. They work together when it comes to safety. And if that could just be pushed through now, it could work wonders, particularly for, there are a large volume, I think 160 million tons of gold ore that are in pillars. Now there's another thing, when we've mined, in order to keep the roof up, you leave the pillars in. So pillars hold everything together, but they got gold inside. So, if you can go back and get that gold out, and that's one of the things with the reef boring. Mother Nature won't know that the gold is gone, because you will bore that out and you'll put a backfill in that's so quickly put in, it's set so fast that Mother Nature will think, oh, the gold's still there, and everything will still, so you can actually draw that gold out of something like 160 million tons of gold ore. And that doesn't even need to interfere with the way you're mining elsewhere, because it's the shaft pillars that you've already moved away from, and you could get an enormous wealth from that gold. So there's a lot of thinking going around this. They need to work with the unions. The unions need to say, look, this is it, because jobs are going to change. They're not going to be the same jobs that people had before, where you had to have the drill rig operator and who has to drill, and then they go through a blasting process, people leave the mine. It's a different situation. Here you're going to have artisans. They're going to be able to make sure that they can work this machinery well. They'll be better paid, they'll be more highly qualified, and people say they're not going to lose jobs. In fact, they want it to be people-centered. And I think that's why we must bring the unions in. This is going to be people-centered. All boats are going to be floated. And you need government and labour and business to work together. And you see government and business already working well at the revival of the Comro. Now they need to bring labour in and really get rid of this trust deficit and make sure that we can get out of the ground what's there.
Now, AngloGold Ashanti has been working on only the gold concept for a while. What has been the outcome of that?
They're still upbeat, even this week. When they reported, it was Mining Weekly again, questioning them on this, and you can see that, the AngloGold COO South Africa, Chris Shepherd, he was saying, I'm still upbeat on this. If they continue to say that, I'm happy, because this is not an easy thing. Research and development is not easy, and one likes the fact that they keep saying we are progressing. Every time you ask them, there's a little bit further progress. They haven't quite got commercial yet, but they do need this round-the-clock permission, and that looks like it could be the breakthrough. They can start off perfecting it on shaft pillars, and other mines, if it works, can do the same. It would be incredible. There's just no loss of jobs with that, because you're not interfering with the production area. So the unions could come on board with that right away. It seems like someone needs to champion this, and Neal Froneman at the mining Indaba, he was working on, because Sabanya's also got a whole lot of their own initiatives. They got different ideas of how you can solve this, and perhaps if they all come together with different things, we can make sure that gold mining goes on for much longer. And we know how much wealth that can give to your country, exporting that. We used to be the world's biggest gold producer, now I think the 6th biggest below Peru, and falling, and falling fast. And all around the fact that we haven't changed the method and that our productivity is so low. So you need to bring the unions on board.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.